Yes, it's another Montale, and it's another Montale with a misleading name, although maybe this one isn't quite as misleading as a lot of other ones. Also, this one just so happens to draw a lot of comparisons to Duro by Nasomatto. Are they similar? Is this one any good? Stick around to find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Scent Review. Tonight it's going to be Oud Musk from the House of Montale. As I'm sure you could tell just by looking at this bottle, it's clearly a Montale. Even though you might notice that there's something missing from this bottle, which is this. It's the charm, the infamous Montale charm. So you'll notice for the remainder of this review, this bottle will remain without its charm because I find the charm to be anything but charming. In fact, it's annoying. So like I said in the introduction, this one gets compared a lot to Duro by Nasomatto. I'm here to tell you just how much truth there is to those comparisons. I'm not going to go too in-depth about the presentation here. I'm not going to show the box. Everybody knows what the Montale boxes look like. And this one comes in a pouch here. Of course, you can pull the pouch shut. This one's very nice, beautiful, dark brown. It's made to feel like leather, but I'm sure it's plastic. It's a nice pouch, looks kind of classy, I guess. It's nice for when people come visit you, you can have the Montale bottle or can inside this bag, maybe on your mantle, maybe on one of your countertops. You know, it's interesting. It could be an interesting conversation starter sometimes. And of course the can itself here, made to look like a water bottle. I'm assuming that's what Montale was going for when they designed these bottles. And on the bottom here we have the batch code. And yes, if you don't already know, Montale bottles feel extremely lightweight. They're made of aluminum, which is stronger than glass, so less material can be used. Translates into just a much lighter bottle. Even when they're full, for example, this is a 100 milliliter bottle, which means that there's 100 milliliters of liquid inside the bottle. The bottle itself is actually made to hold 120 milliliters of liquid, but they only fill them up with 100 milliliters worth of liquid. Why is there an empty 20 milliliters remaining? So that the fragrance can continue to mature inside the bottle long after purchase, long after it's put on the store shelf. If you want to know more about maturation and maceration, check out my review of Guilty Intense Oud. I'll put the link right up here. Half decent atomizer. It's a Montale. You can't expect very much, but you know, decent. Not the worst I've seen. I will say though, this fragrance does smell very nice. So the note breakdown that I get, in the top I get some saffron and vetiver. In the mid I get some musk and amber. And in the dry down I get some ebony wood, some more musk, and some more amber. So in the very opening here we get a big medicinal astringent burst. That's going to be coming from, I think it's a mixture of saffron and vetiver. So we get the earthy spice from the saffron and the very bitter, crisp, somewhat sharp and astringent vetiver. A lot of people will liken this to the smell of that medicinal type of oud. Maybe a little bit, but either way, this opening accord, this opening blast of astringent bitterness disappears after like 30 seconds. It goes away very quickly. In the mid, we get some of that beautiful musk and amber, so it's really starting to warm up here in the mid part. The musk is very warm, it's velvety, and it's paired with that amber, so the amber is a little bit sweet, a little bit resinous, maybe a touch powdery and dusty as well. If you want to know more about the amber accord, by the way, go check out my video on Ambre Sultan by Serge Lutens. I'll leave the link for that up here as well. And in the dry down, I get ebony wood, more musk, and more amber. So in the bottom here, the amber is becoming soft and a little bit creamy. It maintains that resinous facet as well. And at this point also, there's a little bit of a smokiness, a slight smokiness that I'm thinking is also coming from the amber. It's paired with that velvety, warm, soft musk in the bottom here. And we definitely get a big blast of ebony wood. The ebony wood in the bottom here is quite noticeable. So that's going to give it a dark, woody, slightly bitter characteristic in the bottom here. The ebony wood, you know, is also a little bit spicy. Dark, woody, bitter, and spicy. That's what the ebony wood smells like to me in the dry down of this fragrance, and it's quite noticeable. Very woody in the dry down here. So if you'll notice, no oud in this fragrance, which if you know about Montale, maybe that won't surprise you. Montale is a little bit notorious for having very inaccurate fragrance names. Now this one here is called Oud Musk. So, you know, while there's no oud in it, I definitely do detect some musk. So, you know, it's half accurate, let's say. It's not nearly as bad as ones like Oud Lagoon or Wood and Spices, for example. But still, there's no oud in this that I can detect. So don't worry, this is not an oud-based fragrance. Also, I doubt that there's any real ebony wood in this. Real ebony wood is extremely rare. The remaining supply is mostly used for manufacturing musical instruments, guitar fretboards, clarinets, and also knife handles in some cases. So the ebony wood in this is, I'm pretty sure it's laboratory synthesized, but it smells very good, and it adds a very dark, complex, woody, kind of spicy bitterness to this fragrance that kind of counteracts that soft, warm amber and the velvety, smooth musk, you know what I mean? There's definitely a contrast in this fragrance, and I find it very interesting. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are curious, does this smell to me like Duro by Nasomatto? Yes, it does. It smells very similar. Wouldn't say they're identical, but they are absolutely very similar. So some differences that I will point out. Duro is definitely smokier, it's definitely spicier, and Oud Musk has, you know, a little bit of that smoke, a little bit of those spices. But overall, Oud Musk is a little bit softer, it's a little bit smoother, it's a little bit warmer than Duro. Also, I find the performance here in Oud Musk is a little bit better actually than Duro. So there's that. I don't own a bottle of Duro, but I have sampled it extensively. Great scent, but there's a reason why I prefer the Montale, and there's a reason why I would recommend the Montale to you guys, and I'm gonna get to that a bit later. So, you know, Oud Musk is definitely not one of Montale's most popular fragrances. In fact, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who have never even heard of this. Montale has like so many fragrances, it almost seems like they release a new one every second month. But I have tried pretty much all of the Montales, and this is definitely one of my favorites. It's not, you know, maybe it's not one of the most unique fragrances out there, but it's absolutely well blended. It smells great, and it has really good performance as well. The versatility on this one, you know, I'd say it's fairly versatile. I would wear this on a date. You could definitely wear it to a formal situation as well, because although it does have that dark ebony wood and a touch of smoke, it's overall a very warm, smooth scent here, very ambery, musky as well, but it's not the animalic type of musk. It's more so just the soft, velvety, you know, style of musk. So don't worry about that. There's nothing animalic in this. And apart from that really sharp opening that lasts for all of 30 seconds, I think this is actually a pretty mass appealing fragrance here. I maybe wouldn't recommend this to someone as their very first fragrance, but you know, if you have a small collection, even if you have 3 or 4 and you enjoy warmer fragrances with some woody notes, you're probably gonna really enjoy this one. I will say that. It's not as divisive, it's not as sharp or piercing as Duro, although it does smell quite similar, I will admit. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of compliments from this one from men and women. You know, this is appealing, but it's interesting at the same time. It might not be, like I said, the most original, but it's definitely still, you know, it differentiates itself from a lot of those warm, wintry fragrances out there on the market today. And it's a Montale, you know, it's decent quality and it's got great performance. This fragrance has a presence to it. So the performance on this one, definitely, you know, almost an arm's length projection for 2 hours, and this lasts on your skin all day. This is an 8, maybe 9 hour long scent in terms of longevity. Great. Also, it leaves a very nice sillage when you're walking through the streets, especially on a cold winter day. The people behind you will really enjoy this, trust me on that one. So I find this performance to be definitely better than the performance on Duro by Nasomatto. Duro by Nasomatto lasts less, and it definitely doesn't project as much as this one. Although Duro itself, the scent of Duro, is a little bit sharper. I'd say it's a little bit, you know, more intense than this one. Like I said, this is kind of softer, not as smoky, not as spicy as Duro. And another big difference, which I'm sure is going to be the deciding factor for a lot of you guys out there thinking about purchasing this or Duro by Nasomatto. So this one here, $80 on FragranceNet. That's for the 100 milliliter bottle. Same website, a 30 milliliter bottle of Duro by Nasomatto goes for $124 US. So this Montale ends up being about 80 cents per milliliter, while Duro by Nasomatto ends up being $4.13 US per milliliter. So that's a price increase of like 416%, which also translates into the Montale Oud Musk being like 80% cheaper, roughly 80% cheaper than the Duro. You know, better value, way better value. Better performance, not quite as daring as Duro by Nasomatto, but essentially it's, you know, very, very, very similar. So, you know, because of those reasons, I would just recommend this one to everybody. Save yourself some money, get a better performing fragrance, and one that's like just as high quality, and also fairly unique. Not the most unique, but fairly unique, I'll say that. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of Montale's Oud Musk. This one is a great one for wintertime. I wouldn't say it's like absolutely an essential fragrance to have, but like I said, if you like warm, ambery, and definitely woody fragrances, you might want to check this one out. And especially if you're considering buying Duro by Nasomatto, I really recommend checking this one out as well. You might just be able to save yourself a bunch of money. Anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed the review. Until next time, keep it real.